back. Thanks for joining me. I tied a wee orange salmon fly that I used myself there on one of the bond tributaries just in the last couple of weeks of the season here in Northern Ireland, and I tied a red version in it as well. Now, I've just been reminded that I did say that I would tie the red version for the channel by one of my subscribers. So that's the wee red version there. This is the one I'm going to put it together for you here now. So the hook and the vise is a partridge patriot double in size 12. The thread we're going to use to tie the fly is Uni thread 80 in black. So I'm just going to come in a couple of mil behind the eye of the hook to get the thread started. Just running on a couple of mil of thread and then removing the waist tag. The tag and the rib on the fly is the ultra wire in hot yellow. So just take a length of this off. I just always like to tie in my material for my tags in underneath the hook shank, then bring it in underneath the hook, and then simply just run your thread down until you're sort of in line with the points of the hooks or just slightly past them. And then I'm just going to come around with 5 turns of the hot yellow wire. On the last turn, just bring this up and then underneath the shank of the hook. That locks in your tag, and then just keeping the wire in underneath the shank, just bring your thread forward. You can just bend this then back for the rib. Right, that makes this tag on this wee fly really strong. You're doubling up here, bringing it back down, and get that out of the way. The tail is just red Arctic fox, or Arctic foxtail dyed red. So just come in and take a small pinch of this off. You don't want too much of this, just a wee sparse sort of wee tail on the fly. And Arctic fox basically reduces by nearly half once it's in the water, and I want to tie this on around about a length and a half to 2 lengths of the hook. It's the tail over the back. Just secure that in. Just come in and lift the excess. Just going to trim this away in a bit of a tapered cut. The body is just a large holographic gold tinsel. This is the Vineyard stuff. So start for this up to the hook. Just pull this into the length of the body, and then just take your time and run your thread up, tying these in. You just want to try and reduce any lumps and bumps that you may create in the body to there. And then we'll come up with our gold holographic tinsel. Now just hold your tail, and then you can just get one nice clean turn going at the back of the fly here, and then you're just looking overlapping turns of the gold holographic tinsel to create your body. Follow this around with your thread, and then a couple of turns will secure that in. You can come in and trim away the excess, just get rid of that rubbish. Then we can bring up our rib, and I'm looking 3 turns of the wire up the body, plenty. Follow this around with my thread. Nice tight turns now, just to make sure this is well secured in, and then you can bend and break away the wire. If you've got designated scissors, you can just cut the wire away. Now the wing and the throat is Grey Squirrel tail dyed red. So I've some off here, and I've already got them in the stacker. So I just want the wing, just the tips. That's how I just measure. I just measure by the tips. I just want the tips coming past the bends and the hooks. I'm just going to hold it here with my finger and thumb. Now, I usually trim it, but I've got enough room here to work to tie it on, and then I come in and lift the excess. Nice pair of sharp scissors, you can trim that away. Now it has a tendency to pull out squirrel tail, so you can use varnish, or in this case I'm just going to wipe on a wee bit of super glue onto my thread, and then take this down over the cut ends nice and tight. Now I put some flesh into the wing, and this is just the last of this stuff nearly. This is just the micro flesh in UV. Right. Them two strands are no good, so we'll take these two and just offer them up to the hook. You can have them on the sides, on the top, doesn't really matter. Just come around with a pinch and loop, a couple of turns. I'm going to fold the excess back and then bring my thread back up. Now I just want to trim this sort of way to the same length as the tail. Just want to have a wee check here, guys. Happy enough with that. Then we're just going to put on another wee drop of the squirrel as a throat. I've done well with this one. The orange one did take a couple of fish, but the red worked really well for me. Just going to get a measurement of this, then offer it up underneath. Just going to hold it and then pinch and loop it up the way. My thread slipped there, so I'm just going to come back out. Just get the measurement correct. Just pinch and loop up the way again. Always go back if you're not happy with something. You've been watching the videos now that have been tying long enough. If you're not happy, always go back. It's no big deal. At this point, I'm just going to come back in with our scissors. Nice pair of sharp scissors. And these are the Vineyards scissors, guys. I'll just show you them. That's them there. The good scissors, nice and sharp. That would be, if I could give any advice, a good pair of sharp scissors is key in fly tying, I believe. Just take it down, back up, just over the cut ends again, just a wee drop of super glue. Any excess, we can just wipe that off. Now you can finish the fly at that. Don't need to put on jungle cock, but I did add jungle cock onto the wee pattern. I have two eyes here. I know that it's not the cheapest material to buy, so that's the two wee eyes, and then I just stroke back the fibres that's on the stems. Just hold them in my finger and thumb and just stroke these back, and then just offer them up to the hook, and then I just come around with a couple of loose turns just to see what way we're sitting, and I'm happy enough with that. So I'll just take another 2 turns down, keeping my thread really tight here, the tension on it. Just fold these back, and then I'm going to build up the head. Just hand these in. Now, if you can tie the jungle cock back like this with the stems, it just means that, just tidying the head up here, it just means that they have to break off, they can't pull out. Now, keeping my thread tight, and just come in, grab the stems. It can be fiddly, but just stick with it. So that's me, just pulling the stems away, still keeping your thread tight, don't let it go. Just come in and throw in a whip finish. Now you can shape the head here at the same time too. I like to do this. placing the thread where it needs to be. Keep your thread tight. Come in, trim away your tan thread, and that's the wee fly. And it done alright for me. Like I say, I think it's more about being in the right place at the right time. Now, just a first coat on the head is super glue. This is just a new pad of super glue that I've opened, so this should dry pretty quick for me. And then once that dries, I'll come in, guys, and just hit that with a couple of coats of varnish. Just a wee bit too much. Just come in with my needle. Just hit that with a couple of coats of varnish, and that fly will be, the head of that fly will be solid. So there you go, guys. That's just the wee red version. Nothing really till the wee fly. Like I say, it's more being in the right place at the right time when the fish are there. So look, tie a few of those up. They've worked for me. Not saying it's a wonder fly, but that has worked for me. So tie a few up. Hopefully they can catch you a few fish. As always, many thanks for taking the time to view the video, guys. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. It helps the wee channel out, it helps it grow. And until next time, folks, please stay safe and tight lines.